things, but I mean, let's start from the start, which is usually good for the beginning of things. I remember it was the start of 2015. All of a sudden, this new team arrived on the scene in Asian motorsport. It was the Asia Formula Renault Championship, and it was BlackArts Racing, your team. In your very first season in 2015, you exploded on the scene and you won, I think it was 12 all of the races, and your champion, Dan Wells, won, I think, 10 out of the 12 races. And in your very first season in Asia Formula Renault, you were team champion and driver champion. Now, what got you you're a businessman based in Hong Kong. What got you interested in motorsport, and how did you go about setting up BlackArts Racing?
So, the story of BlackArts Racing really is very simple. Um, when I was a kid, I raced. I mean, each one of the partners in BlackArts Racing has been racing for years. I was a kid. I started racing go karts. I raced on dirt. I raced illegally on illegal racetracks. I raced on ice. I raced sports cars. I raced touring cars. Um, but that was before university and before graduate school and before a whole bunch of stuff. And then maybe about 12, 13 years ago, I had some money and decided, it's time to get back to racing. Bought a race car, raced it for a while, bought another race car, raced it for a while, won a bunch of track championships in Zhuhai. And then at the same time, one of my future partners in Blackart Racing, Thomas Ludi, was also racing Formula Renault. And Thomas and I would see each other at the track and we would talk. Thomas is a consultant. Nowadays at Bain, I'm a consultant working with private equity firms on logistics acquisitions. So Thomas and I, started talking about business, but also about racing. We sort of made a decision in 2012, 2013, that we were going to form a race team, that we were going to start to buy some race cars. We decided initially to focus on Asia Le Mans, but then a few things happened. Thomas broke his neck in a racing accident in Zhuhai at the end of the season in 2014. So this sort of put us on hold for forming the race team. Certainly, we wouldn't buy any race cars. When Thomas recovered, we made a decision that we'd focus on Formula cars, and we bought some brand new Formula Renaults. We took over a relatively poorly run race team based in Zhuhai, a team called Tracktorque, which was struggling. We took them over, but we injected a lot of money in race cars and infrastructure and hiring some good coaches. And the objective of BlackArts Racing from the start was to develop young drivers, both young drivers in Asia and young drivers in Europe who wouldn't have a chance really didn't have the money to race in Europe. I mean, our background really is, I didn't have the money to continue racing when I was a kid. Thomas got to the point where he was a hotshot consultant before he had the money he could continue racing. I was the CEO of a business before I could continue racing. So we wanted to actually help develop young kids, drivers both in Asia and also drivers in Europe who could come to Asia and actually race for less money than what they could do in Europe. We won the Formula Renault Championship every year that we raced in it.
Wow.
Um, so our focus was really on Formula cars from the very start. I continue to race my Caterham. I continue to race in endurance races. I raced in David's TCR Asia series. For a couple of years, I was probably one of the most entertaining drivers for sure, if you ask David. Um, I spent a lot of time doing off-track reconnaissance in TCR Asia, uh, but the race team focused on Formula car racing and on driver development. And 2020, we won the Formula 3 Asian Championship, which was sort of like the height of the history of BlackArts Racing. And then after that, of course, COVID hit, and our team, like most of the teams in Asia, have been hit hard by uh, COVID and also the policies around COVID.
Yeah, true.
As you probably know, we've transitioned. We've moved out of Zhuhai, which was our first base. For a while, we moved some of our cars to Ningbo and the rest of our cars to Sepang, thinking that Hong Kong was our natural base of business initially, but with Hong Kong's border to China being shut down, we haven't been able to really utilize that. So we moved out of Zhuhai, moved to Ningbo. Then there were constant lockdowns in Ningbo and Shanghai, and eventually made the decision to move completely out of China and move our base to Sepang in Malaysia. Um, we're still the same initial focus, development of drivers. We spend a lot more money on coaching and on development. As you probably know, Alex Young, former F1 driver, Alex Young is the team manager right now and runs our testing program at Sepang. And Alex has really his own excellent setup and training and development with Axel. Has a fantastic e-racing series that we're now involved in as well, that we try to develop some drivers from e-racing, young kids, develop drivers from e-racing into driving real race cars. The past 2 months, we've been taking e-racing drivers and actually putting them in Formula Renaults. Eventually, hopefully, put them in the F3 spec cars.
Right, right. And hello, Motorsport fans. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and like this video so we can keep the channel going. Good morning, Bill O'Brien from BlackArts Racing. How are you doing today?
Okay, I'm here in Hong Kong. It's a pretty nice day.